Okay, I'm gonna start the webinar so we'll be able to see and hear everything.
All right. Hi, everybody that's joining. We're going to get started in a minute or two. Just wait for a couple more folks to join us. Alrighty, so I see we got quite a few folks on the line. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar hosted by Sentricon. This is the first webinar within a three-part series that will focus on growing your business through Sentricon by understanding key marketing objectives. And today's webinar is going to focus on the target audience for Sentricon, exploring our key demographics, their community affiliations, and most effective ways to connect with them within those spaces. Our objective for today's webinar is to provide you all with some actionable strategies to reach our target audience where they are, and our hope is that you'll be able to take one thing away today that you can apply to your business or your marketing strategy moving forward. So as we discuss, feel free to add any questions you might have to the Q&A box as we go through our presentation today. And then we'll also have some time at the end to answer any questions live. So you'll be hearing from several panelists in today's talk. Leah Beyer, who is the Digital Marketing Communications Leader for the Corteva Digital team, as well as myself, Meredith Nystrom, and my colleague, Ana Ramirez, on behalf of Two Rivers Marketing. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Leah to kick us off.
Oh, thank you, Meredith. We went too far. There we go. All right, I'm excited to be with you all today. I love talking about making sure we have the right customer we're targeting when we're doing our marketing and making sure we can get the right content in front of it. So we're really going to start today talking about who is the target audience when it comes to Sentricon and termite management. So to help ensure that all the messages we're putting out to our customers are correct, we really need to have proper understanding on who is that customer. Knowing your target audience is also great to help aid in competitive advantage so that you can capture a larger market share. And then, of course, it can also help you increase your ROI by reaching the right people with the right message, again, at the right time. So let's talk about, how do people like to buy things like services? So once we know who that target audience is, we then have to get to know them and understand their behavioral preferences. What kind of mindset do they have when they're making purchase decisions? So how do they seek service? Are they relying on their neighbors through word of mouth referrals, or their friends or their families? Or are they going online and reading social media reviews, Yelp reviews, Google reviews, all sorts of Reddit threads out there on what you should do when you have termites? Where are people seeking that information? And when they are ready to make that purchase, what does that look like for your specific target audience? Are they more likely to pick up the phone, give you a call, talk to you? Or do they want to go to an online form, submit a form, get an email response or text message back to you? Or do they actually want to chat with a chatbot on your website? So once you understand who your target audience is, there is so much variety in what their preferences are for buying that you have to know both of these things in order to have the best marketing and then in return sales optimization. So how does this translate to pest control? So let's talk about the various ways that your customers are looking for that pest control partner. First of all, online searches. I am super curious if you guys have actually searched on your phones, on your computers for the services you're providing. When you do that and you say termite control services near me, does your business come up? What does it look like in that search functionality when you Google it? Is there a strong online presence for you that if someone's searching for this type of control, they can find it? And what are the words that they sometimes are searching for? Is it termite control? Is it termite treatment? Is it termite inspection? Are you using the right words? And whether it's a Google location, a website, so people can find you. Then there's referrals. So that word of mouth referral is probably the most valuable type of referral the pest control industry can get. People who have been satisfied with their termite control are going to tell their friends, family, neighbors, this is who I use. I recommend them. They're good value. They're prompt. Whatever that service that's important to those customers, that's how they're going to sell you. This can be the result of seeing your trucks in the neighborhood. They will ask the neighbors, hey, what is that experience? So make sure you have good branding also. So when they see you, they'll think about you. And then, of course, there's those real estate transactions. Termite inspections are often required during real estate transactions, creating a significant source of business for the CSS. Relationships with those real estate agents and home inspectors can be hugely beneficial. I had someone close to me recently purchase a home, and between his real estate agent and the gentleman who did his inspection, all of his questions were answered between those two people on services that he needed to purchase for his new home. So building those relationships is really key. Proactive prevention. Some of those homeowners are seeking preventative treatment to avoid future infestations, especially when in those areas where that termite is high. So, there's a lot of people who are like, I don't even want to deal with it. So make sure, like, if they're seeking out proactive, they easily can find you. And then you have the people who have that oh crap moment. There are signs of infestation. They can see the termite damage. They see the mud tubes, the damaged wood, the swarms. And those homeowners are calling you basically on 911. Come help me now. Those clients are becoming more and more accustomed to digital transactions. How can I get this fast? Having that online portal, easy to use websites are becoming more and more important when people are in desperate situations when they have figured out that they have termites. So let's talk about what do those potential target audiences want from a pest control partner? First and foremost, transparency and trust. Those clients want clear, honest communication about the termite problem and the proposed treatment plan. They want you to be professional. They want you to be experts. They want to make sure you're getting positive reviews. They want convenience and flexibility. If they wanted to do it on their own, they would do it. They're calling you because they want a convenient service that is flexible to their needs. That's why a lot of times they want flexible scheduling. They want convenient payment options, including online payments or auto payments. They want to be able to book online, communicate online, maybe even via texting. And then they want comprehensive solutions. Clients a lot of times really prefer that CSS who offers comprehensive solutions, including inspections, treatments, prevention measures. They want the warranty and guarantees. Hey, if this doesn't work, we've got your back. And let's just be honest, we all like a good deal. They want value for their money. While the price is a consideration, clients always also prioritize quality of service, effectiveness, and again, convenience of that service. So make sure your CSS is always talking about the value. And like I already talked about, online portals, easy to use websites, easy to use payment portals, always going to make a customer happier to do business with you when it is easy for them to pay for their service. All right, so let's talk about who's really making this purchase decision for termite control. All right, so I want you to think about your own house for a second. In your home, who's making the most decisions about what groceries you're buying, what brand of groceries you're buying, what brand of paper towels or toilet paper? I had my roof redone this summer. There was like 6 different panels of shingle colors that we had to pick from to pick the roof color. It's starting to be spring. We're putting flowers out on our patio. What color of flowers are we putting on our patio? When you think about a lawnmower, are we going to get a push mower? Are we going to get an electric? Are we going to get a gas? Is it going to be a zero turn? The color of your house. Maybe you're painting it. Maybe you're putting new siding up. Who picks that color? And then finally, the age-old question, are we going to drive a minivan or an SUV? So when you think about those decisions, I know in my house, that's me making that decision. And if I'm not sure what the decision is, I definitely have an opinion on the decision. And I'm seeking that advice from my husband, especially on things like a lawnmower that maybe I'm not an experienced as, but might be like, hey, if you expect me to mow the yard, I want a riding mower. I don't want to push it. So, really, who is making that decision is important when you're thinking about pest control. So, who buys? What we have really seen is that women are driving the bulk of purchases and they account up to 80% of all consumer spending. In addition, 60% of all personal wealth in the United States is held by women. And nearly 1.3 million women are earning salaries over $100,000. They have huge buying power, which also ties back to they're willing to spend the money on a convenient service they know will work to protect their homes from termites. There is a gender divide in the do-it-yourself space. Cost savings matter, but money always matters. Along with budget constraints, really, we have seen that women in particular, at a higher rate than males, have time constraints. They don't have time, they want convenience. There's physical demands and safety concerns they have with doing a lot of different things in the DIY space. So a lot of times they're like, hey, if I can't physically do this, I'm going to pay for that. And sometimes, depending on what it is, can lead to lack of confidence that I'll know how to do it. The reason we're sharing this is because there are so many women who are now doing do-it-yourself home improvement. When it comes to the termite control in their home, they are going to be more willing to pay for a service than do it yourself if they don't have confidence they know how to do it, because they do not want those termites in their home. So think about how that transition has been happening in that gender divide in that do-it-yourself home improvement space. All right, finally, the female homeowner. Sort of talked about it with the DIY, but females are owning homes at a higher rate now too. So when we look at the Chiconomics, women's are really drivers of that economy. The discretionary spend accounts for 75% going into 2028, not just in the consumer buying, but all discretionary spend. And there's more and more women who are single and child free. So the Morgan Stanley economists project that 45% of women will be single and child free in 2030. That's up about 4% from 12 years previous, which just means they have more cash in their pockets for themselves that they can buy services that they deem worthy for their lifestyle and for their homes. And then finally, women in spending. Women make up half the US population, but control 85% of the spending. So if you're not thinking about who is that female demographic in your marketing efforts, you're missing a large piece of the consumer spending pie. Women also control more than 60% of all personal wealth, and then women purchase over 50% of traditional male products, including cars, home improvement products, and our beloved consumer electronics. So with that, I'm handing it back over to Meredith.
Thanks, Leah. Now we're going to focus a little bit further around who the target customers for Sentricon are and those opportunities for finding them. So who is the Sentricon target audience? It's no secret that the Sentricon system is designed for homeowners and business owners, both of which are looking to protect their spaces from termite infestations. But if we really think about narrowing that very large group of people down, there's a few key characteristics and groups that our target audience reflects. The first is going to be those homeowners with an average income of $75,000 plus. The Sentricon system is a more premium priced product, and our target customer must be willing to make that investment for their home or for their property. And like Leah mentioned, knowing that women are major drivers of the American economy and do account for a large portion of overall discretionary spending, they are also a priority group within our target audience. And then our two opportunity groups here within the target audience lay with the millennial and baby boomer generations. So the first group is our millennial demographic, which would be those ages 29 to 44. And what do we know about this group? Well, right now, there's a lot of ongoing affordability concerns with home buying. But despite this challenge, in 2024, 38% of the home buyers were millennials. With rising home prices and limited inventory, fixer-uppers are becoming more common and a viable option for millennials that are looking to buy. Fixer-uppers can also be a good investment with the potential to increase value after renovations, which is fitting for this group, who is also not afraid to do DIY or do-it-yourself projects. In fact, about 73% of millennials consider themselves DIYers, and 55% admit to watching YouTube videos for home improvement information. The next group we want to highlight is our downsizers, who would identify within the baby boomer demographic, which would be individuals in between the ages of 60 and about 79. This demo also made up a large portion of the home buyers in 2024 at about 31% last year. A popular driver of home purchasing for the baby boomers may be downsizing for reasons such as maintenance and overall reduction of burden with upkeeping a bigger property than needed. And the opportunity with the baby boomer audience is with how much of the spending power that they have. About 52% of total US wealth lies with this group. And there might be a stronger willingness to invest in a termite prevention solution with a higher price point. So what do the millennials and the baby boomers have in common? Well, for starters, they talk to each other. Nearly 90% of millennials talk to their parents at least once a week or more, with 50% of that group talking to their parents every single day. And similarly, phone calls are often a preferred method of non-in-person communication with baby boomers, as generationally, this form of communication was the primary means of long-distance communication for a long time. They also look at online reviews. So online ratings and reviews are a very helpful tool when making a purchasing decision, as peer feedback is seen as a credible, authentic source of information. Especially on higher priced items, ratings and reviews can often make or break a customer's decision to move forward with a brand or a company. We see that 85% of millennials like to seek out websites with reviews, and similarly, this is true for about 70% of baby boomers. And finally, they like one-stop shopping or online shopping for the ease. So websites and Google have made online shopping the most convenient way to be able to browse and gather information quickly. Because your customers are likely to seek out services using the internet at some touch point, whether they're seeking pest or termite services near me in the search engine, or clicking through an ad that they saw while on Facebook, having that key information like phone numbers and service offerings available and easy to access is crucial for our target customer's journey. So there's a few key ways that we can look at these two opportunity groups in conjunction with our target customers and help empower them to purchase your services. And the first is going to be knowing where they're spending their time, both online and offline. What groups are they a part of? Where are their communities? Where may they value opinions and influence by their peers? And we'll go a little bit further on this topic in the next few slides. The second is making it easy for them to find you. So as we noted in the prior slide, ensuring your touch points of communication are simple and information is not difficult to find or to access. And again, we'll go into a little bit more detail on this later on of how you can optimize your communication by channel. Finally, making it simple to communicate and quick to schedule your business. I know I am much more likely to give my business to someone if I get a quick response and an appointment within the first few minutes of reaching out. Uh-oh. Jumping slides, so just give me a moment. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to share with you all is just a couple proof points based on our Sentricon marketing program that in 2024 into 2025, Two Rivers Marketing, so my team, has partnered with the Sentricon team in conjunction with a select group of CSSs on a local marketing program to understand which type of marketing is most effective. So this program showed us that the campaign within the audience did skew a bit lower in that 50% of household incomes, though it's important to note we did see a good number of data collected that didn't have household information reported in this category. And then the second piece of demographic information that we found within our program was that these campaigns did skew within these target groups. You'll see that that 65% category was quite high, as well as within our millennial range of 29 to 44-year-olds collectively. And it also did skew more female than to our male audience. So now we're gonna, there we go. We're gonna talk a little bit about some of these opportunity groups. There we go. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about these opportunity groups, and we're gonna walk through some of those places that I mentioned that they might be likely to be spending in their time. So starting with the millennials, online, you can definitely find them across many different social media platforms, with Instagram and TikTok being a few of the popular apps that they'll engage with. Facebook groups also serve as a place to connect with local swaps, community groups. They're being great places for valuable information sharing and connection. As we touched on earlier, those online reviews from sites like Google, Yelp, Nextdoor, they're big with this group, often checking them prior to making decisions. The millennials are also very into streaming and led the way of the cord cutting from traditional cable, instead opting for more subscription-based models for content in places like Netflix, Spotify, and podcasts. And finally, apps are still reigning supreme for the millennials, as they often have a connotation with convenience associated with them for things like home services and food delivery. Offline, the millennials will spend their time enjoying local activities such as farmers markets and community gardens. Because the millennials are also entering a more established phase of their career, that mid-level point in their career, young professional groups and events are more likely for this group to be a part of. Similarly, fitness centers and outdoor activities are a hub for millennials, with about 70% of millennials in the US participating in some sort of fitness activity, which is the highest participation rate amongst all other demographic groups. And finally, local concerts and music festivals are a favorite pastime of the millennials as a way to spend both their free time and their money. And comparatively, the baby boomers often favor email and news websites for their online communications. Like the millennials, they also like their social channels, but they opt more for Facebook or for Meta for their online community. In fact, reports indicate about 78% of baby boomers make up Facebook's user base. This group also favors online banking and financial management. And though they're using these tools for basic financial management, it is important to note that for more complex or advanced advice, they often do prefer those traditional channels like visiting a branch or speaking with a financial advisor in person. And offline, you can find the baby boomers enjoying local newspaper and mail serves as a favored medium. They're a part of local neighborhood associations and communities. Senior centers and social clubs might also be a destination for this group. And finally, television and local radio stations are favored when it comes to online media sources. So our key takeaway for this section is really that understanding where your audience spends their time, both online and offline, is crucial for tailoring your marketing efforts to reach them. So now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ana Ramirez, and she is going to talk a little bit more about how you can reach your target audience in some of those spaces that we discussed.
Thanks, Meredith. Okay, so our next section is all about how to reach your target audience. So in today's digital age, a strong online presence on Google is absolutely vital for all CSS, and there are a few key reasons why. The first one being that most customers start online. So when homeowners discover signs of termites, their first instinct is often to search online. They'll turn to Google to find local services, research treatment options, and compare companies. But if a CSS doesn't appear in those search results, they're essentially invisible to a larger portion of their potential customer base, which is not the ideal case. And that really brings me to the next critical point, which is local search dominance. Since termite control is a local service, homeowners aren't necessarily looking for any company. They're looking for a reliable provider nearby. So that's why, Google local searches essentially prioritize businesses in the user's immediate area. So optimizing for local SEO, including, building out a strong Google business profile will essentially ensure that CSS appear in these crucial near me searches when, it matters the most. And on top of just being found, it's also about building trust and credibility. So this is an important theme here. A strong online presence, is going to include positive reviews, active social media, and an informative website content, which is going to help you build trust with those potential customers. Because at the end of the day, people are far more likely to choose a CSS they find through a reputable Google search than one that they've never heard of. So now, beyond just showing up in search results and building credibility, it's also important that CSS mention Sentricon on their websites. And there are several reasons why, but at the core, it's all about building trust, enhancing transparency, and ultimately driving more business. But I'll run through a quick breakdown of the reasons why it matters to have mentions of Sentricon on the site, with the first one being that it's going to help you establish, again, that credibility and trust. So this means product recognition. Sentricon is a well-known and respected brand in the termite control. So by mentioning it, CSS can leverage the reputation for effectiveness and reliability, because customers naturally feel more secure knowing that the company uses proven and trusted products. And, it also means expertise demonstration. So calling out Centricon directly also is going to show that the CSS are expert in the industry and that they stay up to date with the latest technology and treatments, which includes Centricon. And the second point here is that it's going to enhance transparency, which it's going to come down to two key areas. So keeping customers informed and setting clear expectations. When it comes to keeping those customers informed, it's important to provide product details. That way you are giving them a better understanding of the treatment method that's being used. And also that kind of transparency is going to further build that confidence and trust. Some customers may also have concern, for example, of certain chemicals or products. So offering this information upfront, again, is going to allow them to make informed decisions about their home. And when it comes to setting expectations, so mentioning specific products like Sentricon helps the customer understand what exactly to expect from the process and the results. And the third point here is that it's going to improve SEO and search visibility. So that includes, keyword optimization. So by including that Centricon name or terms like base station or even the logo, you're going to be able to strengthen your website's SEO, which is going to make it easier for you to show up in those organic search results. Another great way to improve that search visibility is via targeted traffic. So this will help you attract potential customers who are already familiar with Sentricon or specifically searching for providers who use it. So all of these factors are going to at the end of the day work together, not only to strengthen the CSS online presence, but it's also going to build that trust with the customer long before that first call is ever made. And just as important as your website presence is your social media presence. So again, in today's world, having a strong social media presence is very critical for businesses of all kinds, and CSS are no exception here. So I'll just go ahead and run through a few reasons of why having a social media presence is so essential. And the first point being that it's going to increase your brand awareness by a good portion, simply because social media platforms offer a wide reach, giving CSS the opportunity to introduce their brand to a much larger audience. So this means that consistent posting, engagement can help the brand stay top of mind for potential customers, while also building distinct brand personality that people can connect and remember. We want to ensure that, the CSS are top of mind when these issues arise. The next point here is that it's going to enhance your local targeting. So platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and even Nextdoor allow for highly targeted ads and community engagement, which means that CSS can reach homeowners in very specific neighborhoods, and it's very ideal tactic. And that's also crucial because, termite control is inherently local. So customers are looking for those trusted providers that are near or close to their area. Another point here is that social media is a powerful way to build trust and credibility, which is a theme that we have carried out throughout the presentation. But with social media, you're going to be able to share educational content, customer testimonials, and even behind the scene glimpses of the team in action. That way, the CSS can go ahead and position themselves as knowledgeable and reliable experts. Plus, you got to keep in mind too that when companies respond quickly to those comments and questions, it's essentially demonstrating, great customer service that is happening right there in real time, which only furthers that trust. And the next point here is that it's also going to help you create a direct line of customer engagement. So having a social media presence is going to make it easier for CSS to connect with both potential and existing customers. Again, answering those questions, addressing concerns, and even offering personalized service where people are already spending their time. But beyond engagement, social media is a pretty powerful tool for content marketing. So by regularly sharing helpful tips like how to prevent termite infestations, CSS are going to be able to educate their homeowners while also positioning themselves as the go-to resource in the industry. And social media is also perfect for visual marketing. Visual marketing tends to attract a lot of eyes, but platforms like Instagrams are ideal for posting those before and after photos of the job, which is going to help potential clients clearly see the quality of the work, or even recognize if they might have a potential problem themselves that they were originally unaware of. And lastly here, the last point is that, having a social media presence is also great for customer reviews. So positive reviews definitely help build trust and credibility, while negative reviews, when handled well, will give the company a chance to publicly show accountability and excellent customer services, which is key nowadays. So altogether, having that strong social media presence is going to do more than just promote the brand, but it's also going to help the CSS connect, engage, and build lasting trust with their local communities. And while social media plays a huge role in building trust and visibility, what people say about your business in local communities, And forums can be just as powerful. In fact, positive mentions in these online spaces, along with strong local reviews, are incredibly valuable for CSS. And I'll run through a couple of points to kind of highlight that. The first one being that it's going to help them build trust and credibility because it comes down to that social proof. People are going to trust the opinions of their peers far more than they trust an ad that they see while they're researching online. But positive reviews and recommendations from other homeowners do carry real weight. And in online forums, people are looking for honest, unbiased opinions. So when they see products or services that are being talked about, positive in a positively manner, is going to essentially build trust, and they're going to be more inclined to go down that route. Another key point here is that, forums and communities often feel more authentic and unfiltered than your traditional advertising. So that trust is going to run a little bit deeper compared to other traditional sources, especially for potential customers who are naturally wary of like marketing hype. So keep that in mind. But our next point here with online forums is that these mentions directly influence purchasing decisions. At the end of the day, this is powerful word of mouth marketing. It might be happening on a digital space, but it is still word of mouth marketing, considering that positive discussions reach a wide audience and make people far more likely to choose a CSS that's been recommended by others in their own community. And, for a service like termite control, local reputation really matters. So positive local reviews not only show a company's commitment to their community, but they also build a sense of reliability that can make all the difference when homeowners are ready to pick up the phone. Our third point here is that these spaces are also going to help you enhance online visibility. So these positive reviews and mentions on forums or community sites contribute directly to search engine optimization, so SEO, which is going to help boost a CSS ranking and making it a little bit easier for customers to find you online when they're researching for providers. And because, many of these online communities are highly localized, good feedback is going to naturally increase that local awareness, which is going to help keep that CSS top of mind whenever someone needs termite control in their service area. So again, with these word of mouth online communities, from forums to reviews, all of this is going to play a crucial role in shaping the local reputation, driving new leads, and of course, growing the business. Now let's dive into the next question, which is it easy to communicate with you? So, generating human-like experiences through tools like chatbots and personalized online interactions is becoming more and more crucial, especially in a service-driven industry like termite control. And there are a couple of reasons why, with the first one being that it's going to enhance the customer service and accessibility. So today's customers, they expect quick, convenient answers anytime and anywhere. So that's where the chatbots are going to come in and kind of shine, because they help provide the 24/7 availability by offering instant support and answering common questions even after business hours. So this is going to essentially ensure potential customers can get the information they need exactly when they need it. And with those instant responses, customers no longer have to wait for a call or an email as a response back. Instead, they're going to get that immediate answer, which is going to reduce the wait times and improve the overall satisfaction. So it's going to be a win-win situation. And then on top of that, chatbots can also offer personalized support by gathering basic information about the customer's specific needs and provide tailored recommendations, making that experience feel a little bit more helpful and efficient right from the start. So they can be utilized in a really efficient way. The second point here is that it's going to help you build trust and rapport. So a well-designed chatbot doesn't just provide answers, so they essentially create a human-like interaction that is meant to feel natural and engaging rather than more of a robotic interaction. That way, the relatable experience helps build trust and rapport with potential customers, which is important in, service industry like the pest control. Plus, something to keep in mind is that these chatbots can be programmed to address common concerns like explaining the treatment process or providing reassurance about product safety, which is going to help reduce those anxieties that many customers have when it comes to termite control. The third point here is that it's going to streamline the customer journey. So chatbots are incredibly effective at lead generation, so collecting contact information and qualifying leads. All of that is going to make it easier for your sales team to follow up. They can also handle appointment scheduling automatically, and it's going to essentially remove that friction, making it simple for customers to book services right away. And when it comes to providing information, again, the chatbot is going to make it easy for visitors to get instant answers to common questions like how much does a termite inspection cost, or what are the signs of termites, or even what areas do you service. But overall, offering these human-like experiences, the goal is to kind of deliver a better user experience, because ultimately making your website more engaging, more helpful, and more likely is going to more likely convert visitors into actual customers for you, which is the end goal at the end of the day. Okay, there we go. So now creating a human-like interaction is only one piece of the puzzle. Keep that in mind. So the next step is making it simple for your customers to communicate with you in the way they prefer. And for most customers today, that means text messaging. So 60% of consumers actually wish businesses would contact them more often through SMS, because it's convenient, non-intrusive, and it fits easily into their daily routines. In fact, around 60% of consumers believe that texting is the best way for brands to communicate with them, making it one of the most effective channels for engagement. And when asked specifically about the best way to reach them, 58% of customers say texting is the preferred method of communication. So keep that in mind whenever you're engaging in these communications. But again, it's not just about sending text, it's more about sending the right kinds of messages to that customers find valuable. And as you can see on this slide, the most appreciated types of text messages from businesses include appointment reminders, with 64% of customers saying they find these helpful, shipment or delivery updates, valued by 48% of the customers, and discounts or special offers, which appeals to nearly 30% of the customers. So for CSS, what this means is that using text messages to confirm appointments, send reminders, and follow-ups will help create a smoother, more convenient experience that customers actually want. So again, the bottom line here, is that when you make it easy to connect, customers are more likely to trust you, engage with your service, and book an appointment when it's the appropriate time. And oh, there we go. There's a lag. It's so good. Another key benefit of those text messaging is how easily it allows businesses to deliver great customer service in real time. So as you can see here, simple text conversations is going to help confirm details, answer those quick questions, and provide updates all without the customer having to call or wait on hold. It's a fast, efficient, and it keeps the customer informed every step of the way, which again is just going to continue building that trust and improve the overall experience for the customer. So for service-based industry like pest control, this kind of communication can be a really big game changer. Just make sure that you're taking advantage of these tools to improve the customer experience. That way they can spread the word as well, and you get more of those leads on your way. And continuing the theme, another great way to build trust is by humanizing your text messages. So sending a quick photo or short intro about CSS coming to customer's house adds a personal touch that it helps customer feel a bit more comfortable and confident about who they're working with. But this will be a quite simple step that is just going to help create more of that personal connection while reinforcing the professionalism. So highly recommend engaging or tapping into this recommendation. And then once the service is complete, don't forget to ask for that review, because reviews do carry a lot of weight. As you can see, 72% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations, and 68% go to social media or online platforms just to read reviews. Also, keep in mind that the experience you deliver does matter, because 52% of the customer say they'll switch brands based on that experience alone. So a simple review request will help strengthen your online reputation and build trust with future customers. And I'll go ahead and pass it back to Meredith.
Thank you, Anna. So we discussed quite a bit of opportunity and strategy during our talk today. So our question back to you all is, what's one takeaway that you can apply to your business today? And you can go ahead and feel free and add any thoughts into the chat, because we are going to spend the last couple of minutes of our time to answer any questions from the group around anything that we discussed today. And I think I saw a couple come through the Q&A, so let me pull that up. Okay, which platform has shown the most success or engagement? Anna, do you maybe want to answer that? I feel like that's kind of a multi-part question.
Yes, I can jump in, and that's a great question. All I gotta say about this is that there's no special recipe. Everything's gonna depend on your audience, your market. So I highly encourage you to review your analytics and get a good understanding of which platform is driving the most traffic, which one has the most audience, and from there you can kind of tailor your strategies. But every market is going to be different, and every audience is also going to be a little bit different depending on that market. As well, last note, sorry, as well as the goal and intention of your tactics. So keep that in mind. A good example of this is, let's say like comparing search, it's more intent based. Those ads are going to show up on the search results, whereas social media can be seen a little bit more of awareness, but you can select those lead gen tactics. So it's all going to depend on your goals, your intentions, as well as your market and audience.
Great answer. Okay, our next question is, what important questions do you suggest to have clear and simple answers for when it comes to Sentricon?
You want me to take that? I think this is in reference to the AI chat bot. So the things that I hear most from CSSs are questions surrounding how Sentricon works, what the signs of termites might be that they should be on the lookout for, what will attract termites to your home, so conducive conditions for termites, and then what to expect during an installation. And I think beyond that, it's probably, you know, questions that they would have when you're actually at their home doing an inspection or installing the Sentricon system.
Great. Any other questions we can help answer?
There is one more. Is there a specific text bot that you would recommend, or should the text be typed and sent by representatives with a simple option to answer yes or no?
I don't have any providers top of mind, but that's something that we can definitely gather some information about, and then we'll provide that recommendation of which bot we're recommending or provider of chatbots.
Okay. Don't see any other questions. Oops. Give us, our slides are bopping around. There we go. So thank you all for joining us today for the first of our 3-part webinar series. You can look out for the next session to come in June, when we plan to talk about tips and strategies to retain your audience once you've built those leads from those opportunity groups. Thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your day.